So lowest is 297, highest is 660, and that's all being done over the phone?
Yeah.
On just a one call close?
Pretty much.
We're joined by Ross and Sarah Thompson in this episode of the FMA podcast, and we talk all things how Ross and Sarah have grown their 2 locations to over 360 high-paying members.
Even on our ads, it's like must have good crack, like no wet wipes. Like that. We couldn't be professional, could we?
No.
I think people just put content out for the sake of it, and if it doesn't have like meaning behind it, what's the point, isn't it?
What you see on the socials and all the rest of it is what you're going to get. God, I remember when we were doing like maybe 10 sales a month, if that.
We're going to clip that last bit. That's going to be the intro of the podcast, I think. I think that's a very good hook right there.
The less option you give people, the more likely they are to build it into their routine.
And then obviously getting with FMA.
Heard it here first, folks. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Ross, Sarah, welcome to the FMA podcast. Great to have you both on the show, and thank you for coming down. First of all, if we could kick off with the name of the business, the model of the business, kind of how many clients you've got and price point. Just give us a bit of an overview of the current operation. That'd be great.
Do you want
go for it?
Me? Yeah. Yeah, so RT Fitness, Durham, Sunderland, and do we class the Barbell Club as like?
Yeah, it's the Barbell Club as well.
Yeah, it's like RT Fitness in the Barbell Club, like that's a program within the RT Fitness. We currently have 360 members. One is large group training, one is small group training where it's 6 people. Yeah, you keep telling us if I'm right with everything. Yeah, and the price point is $200 a month for the small group, $100 a month for the large group.
Nice. And how many members of the team have you guys got?
10.
It's 10 to all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And is that is that yourself within the 10? And
Yeah.
then you've got how many coaches do you have?
So we've got, there's us 2, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because we've got Dan in concert,
Yeah.
Joe, Alex, Ben in Sunderland, and then Paige, Matty, Mia, Josh.
And
Luke.
then Luke, yeah.
Oh, so there's 11 of us.
Yeah, and then new guy starting.
So
that's 12, so it's 12.
Nearly 12.
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
we've got, and then are they all coaches? Are some people helping with operations, or is everyone coaching? Or
Pretty much everybody's coaching. Dan totally looks after concert. So that's our 3rd unit, which only runs the small group PT Barbell Club program. So he's totally there. One of our coaches has started to dabble in sales calls.
Nice.
But he's just doing like 6 hours a week at the minute.
Nice. We can talk about that a little bit later on, 'cause that's always the sort of thing I want to know about. Yeah. Nice.
And then Joe looks after Sunderland predominantly.
Nice. And you've had the first gym for 10 years, and the second one for, you said 6.5 just before we started recording.
Yeah.
But you said you initially started off as an open gym. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Nice. So you were open gym for how long before you decided to move over?
So basically we had a studio before that for a year, which was all personal training. We did start the small group PT in there whilst running outdoor boot camps. And then the thought process was, if you build it, they will come type thing. Opened the gym, like had it all planned, like they'll pay X amount. God, I think it was only 59 quid at the time, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like look at a program, and obviously I'll be on the floor just helping people out from there. Obviously stop the boot camp, stop the small group training. And then, yeah, it didn't go as well for a good year, didn't it? Until we actually brought back, say, the large group training inside. And then we put the small group on, didn't we?
Yeah, the large group came first.
Yeah.
Because it was that conversation of, we've got a month left. If it's not sharp changing around in a month, that's it, done, gone.
So the open gym model just wasn't working at all, revenue-wise, members-wise?
No, not at all.
And then you moved to large group, and then did things just start to click?
Because a lot of people who did the on-the-field boot camps came back.
Yeah.
But obviously it was
Straight
inside,
away.
so they were like, yes, it's not in a piss-wet field.
No.
So it was like, they were buzzing. And then it was like, right, now what do we do? And it was like, the Warrior Women and the Strip and Rip, which was the programme for the small group PT. We split the male and female. It's the Barbell Club now. It was like, bring it back.
And so the Barbell Club, this is where you do the transformational side of the business, is that correct?
We do it on both.
We do it on both, yeah.
Okay.
But the shred photo shoot element is the Barbell Club.
Yeah, I got you. And you guys have got some incredible results for people. I just consistently see before and afters, probably every week on your newsfeed, whether it's over Facebook or Instagram. It's just another success story, like continuously. It's like you've got a conveyor belt of transformations going along. It's incredible. And there's a lot of people that kind of have moved away from that, and some people that are still doing it really well, like yourself. What was the reason for you guys to kind of go in on that transformation side? And do you think it's helped the business long term in terms of, again, you're showcasing these before and afters every single week? I see these again and again and again, and I know for a fact that is helping, proof of concept, showing, like, marketing the results, and from that more people are coming in through that process.
Should I take this one? Yeah. So we've been running the Barbell for a long time, and I think people just were getting stagnant in a way. Like, even though we could get extremely good results, we have getting good results with people there, but I think they just needed something else to focus on. And I did see another guy, obviously doing photo shoots at a different gym, part of a mentorship what I was with before, and he was crushing it. And then it was like, fuck it, we can do that. And it was like, we can do, sorry.
Absolutely, yeah. Go for it. We've had Paul Moore on this show, and it was a minefield. So yeah, absolutely, go for it.
And it was like, we can do it, and it was just overnight when it was like, I think it was 12 weeks till a week before Christmas. It was like, right, we're doing this. Who's doing this? We're going to do photo shoots at the end. Blah blah blah. This is it. This is how many steps you're going to have to do. You're going to have to live like a fitness monk, and then obviously the thought process of, like, if we can do it a few times a year, say with 12 people each time, at least we'd have one result to showcase each and every week. At the minute, we've got 3 results going out a week.
That's amazing.
Because of how often we're doing them.
And then from a marketing standpoint, because that person is now going to share that on their social media, they're going to post it on their wall, and then their whole network sees it. And I'm sure you get a lot of people sign up through friends that have done this process as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, when did we start that? It was 2021 when we started the photos, wasn't it? And God, since then, how many? I mean, we had to expand the Sunderland unit to house the Barbell Club itself because of how many people were interested.
And is that now more popular than just the regular group training, or is it a split, or?
It's close to 50%.
It's close to 50-50.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously you can get a lot more people in the large group. But yeah, I think because of the amount of time slots we've got and the fact that we've generally got 3 coaches on the go with the small groups at the same time, it's working out about 50-50 at the minute.
Yeah.
And then after they get there, before and after, do you guys still service them and work with them and still train them? And then there's that life after the photo, basically.
Yeah, the back end work,
which
is the hardest.
The
hardest to keep them on track.
Because some people in the industry might, there's, I think sometimes there's a lot of, like, debate around people's ethos, and some people go, before and after they get this result, and then they just go back to doing what they were before. But you guys actually continue to help them once they've got their results to, like, maintain the habits that they've gained throughout that process.
I think the thing with the Barbell Club is, yes, we have got that option to do the photo shoot, and some people, we always say it's a good thing to do at least once to sort of see how far you can go with it. But everything that we teach with the Barbell Club is very much a lifestyle change, so it's habitual. It's about changing small habits that build over time that they can then maintain after the event. And yes, after the photo shoot, some people do go back to their old habits, but they've generally got us kicking their arse saying, like, how you've done all this. And, like, a lot of them, they won't go that far back, so they'll maintain actually a really good physique, but they've got a good life balance with everything.
Yeah, and I think there's so many benefits to it for from the business point of view in terms of that proof of concept. Again, I know I mentioned this earlier, but the more you can showcase your service just working again and again and again, the more undeniable your service becomes, and the more trust you put into the marketplace, and the more people that will gravitate towards you because you can do that. And a very simple way to show that your stuff works is a before and after, in terms of, like, here's where they were and here's where they are now. And the fact that they look so great when they actually get the results they do, well, maybe, like, flash some results up on the screen if anyone's watching on YouTube of some of the people, because you guys have seriously, like, helped people, and it's been it's awesome to see. So you guys have been in business a long time, about 10 years or so, and 6 years for the second one. What would you guys say the biggest challenge in your business has been up to this point that you guys have had to face together?
The biggest challenge?
I mean, COVID's the obvious one, but
But it didn't. It gave us a reset, didn't it?
Probably me taking a step back from coaching.
Yeah.
Was that you stepping outside of the business or
No.
stepping out of the
It
day-to-day?
was obviously I got pregnant, so I was coaching till 8 months.
Yeah.
Coaching up till 8 months pregnant, and
Oh,
I was
wow.
like, shit, like I can't do this. I had all the plans of going back, carrying the baby with us round in a carrier and all the rest of it, and I was like, yeah, that's not happening.
Yeah.
So it was like me stepping away from that, and because of the relationship I had with my group of clients and then how we used to bounce off each other, it was quite a big sort of culture change, I think, within the gym.
Yeah, because we would just daft us out with each other, like throughout. Like when we were coaching, it was just bounce off, obviously bickering throughout, but the clients liked it. Do you know what I mean? It was always just like good morale, and so we would do mornings and nights together, and then sort of that dynamic went a bit, didn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And was that when you had less team members in there? Was it mainly you guys coaching? How many team members were there when you started to transition off the coaching floor? Obviously, because you had to look after the newborn.
Yeah, it was just 4 of us.
And now you've built up to nearly 12 coming in. Now, some people listening to this podcast will be thinking 12 staff or a team of 12 and be like, that must be very difficult to maintain. Because some people struggle to get 1 or 2 really good coaches and they seem to have a lot of problems. But the fact that you've got 12 members of a team shows that you're doing something right there. Has there been any mistakes along the way in terms of finding the right people and staff?
100%.
Yeah. What would you say the biggest mistake?
We've had some right whoppers.
Yeah, we have. Yeah.
What would you say like the biggest mistakes maybe you guys have made when it comes to hiring and building that team have been?
I trust people way too easily. I mean, from the first unit, we had a guy who used to be one of my friends, and then like I used to work with my like in a normal job outside of there, and we took him on, and then when we were on
our
honeymoon, and he was like phoning us asking for a pay rise, wasn't he?
He was messaging asking for a pay rise while we were on honeymoon.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
and it was like, I'm on like my honeymoon, like what are you playing at? And then we found out when we got back, a lot of the members messaged us and said he's put us all in a private group and basically said he's setting up down the road,
that old chestnut,
doing the same program for cheaper. And he did actually do our program because he used to record it and we used to see it everywhere, and it was like, that's exactly the same. But then it was like 2 years later, he was still doing the same.
Yeah. Is he still around now?
No.
No. I think that type of behavior trait where you kind of steal someone's clients kind of under their feet and try and do your own thing will kind of I think kind of karma will come back at some point. There's a certain personality type that does that, and I don't think it serves people long term into the future when they kind of are deceptive and dishonest. So it's almost a blessing in disguise when that bad thing happens, because you can kind of get them out of the business and then start focusing on yourself. And then that was one person as an individual. Has there been any kind of other cases or?
Because it's been so that was the Sunderland unit, so where we'd only used to have one person to run that up until last February when we expanded. And then it's been trying to get somebody into there, obviously just to run the place, obviously just take the sessions from there. And there's been
a few whoppers.
Yeah. I guess a better way to phrase it is obviously there's been like some not great people, but from your perspective as kind of like leaders in the business, you kind of mentioned that maybe you've been too nice and kind of maybe too lenient. What are other attributes that you've learned that you've had to tighten up on a little bit, or maybe adjust yourself to be a better boss or leader in the business?
I think just over time we've attracted the same people as us. Would you say?
Yeah, I think more so now.
Yeah, I think like because even though we've had like some bad coaches in the Sunderland unit, so it's only been one coach running there, so everybody could leave with them, whatever else. But most of the people have always stayed with us, like regardless. So it's like they bought into the brand in a sense, like they've bought into us, even though we're not coaching them daily on there.
So most coaches have stayed that have come onto the team for a long-term basis. There's been a few.
There's been a handful.
Yeah. But I think it has always been. We maybe still are too nice, but I think a lot of them now, they are bought into like what we do and how we do it, and they like the balance of. I know a lot of people who come on the podcast as well is always like, you've got to employ your staff and you've got to employ them, and it's like, few of them are employed because they wanted to be. Some of them aren't, and that's because they've got their own ventures that they run alongside.
Yeah. And is that their own coaching ventures or online ventures?
Mixture. Like one of the lads is photography. He's our photographer. He started photography with us on our very first shoot.
Oh, brilliant. So he coaches and does photography as well.
Yeah. Does the photography, and then he's gradually built his photography business, and he's smashing it, to be fair.
Yeah, he's flying.
So.
What do you think it is that has got these people brought into the brand so much?
I mean, Dan, so our longest term, Dan, he's been with us 9.5 years now.
Wow.
Yeah.
I think there's many people listening very envious of having a 9.5 year staff member.
He's absolutely lush.
That might be a record on the podcast.
Yeah. So I think as we've built up though, it's like most of them have stayed.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, so Luke, obviously camera guy, he's been with us over 3 years now. Joe, who runs Sunderland's been with us over 2.5 years. Josh has been with us over 2 years now.
Yeah.
But obviously these are people who we've needed to expand to, but then they've stayed.
And is there anything specific you've done when they've come in terms of, well, it'd be kind of good to walk through, is there a specific process you have when you're interviewing to make sure you can weed out people that are maybe had the tendencies of the people in the past? Do you have a specific process now? And then it'd be good to kind of go into how you do kind of expand their, let's say, skill set and also buy into the business also.
I mean, one of the main things for us is people skills and actually being able to get on with us and have good crack with clients.
Yeah.
We look for that first.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, even on our ads, it's like must have good crack, like no wet wipes. Like that's what we post out, and like some people must read it and like, what?
It's like they've got to have the qualifications, but at the end of the day, like, if you're a wet wipe, you're just not going to work.
Yeah.
And so would you guys say, obviously it's important to have a good coaching skill set, but also, you know, the people skills. Would you put people skills in front of skill set initially in terms of like what you're looking for? Because you can have a great, someone with a great technician, but if they've got awful people skills, that's not gonna.
Who would want to turn up to that session?
Yeah, that's such a good point. You know, you spend an hour with someone, right, and the job is to get them leaving happier than they were when they walked in. If you've got someone with bad energy, that's not going to happen.
Yeah. I mean, it's weird though, because Dan's obviously been with us the longest. He came to us 9.5 years ago and he asked for a couple of weeks works experience for free, and he's never left. He was so quiet. He was so quiet. Like, he had people skills on a one-to-one level. He could really talk to people. But he was super quiet. He used to quote out with his head down. It was always like, oh.
But that was only his first few.
He was just a Ben. But his personality and people skills has proper grown with him. But like technically as a coach, he's the best out of all of them.
Joe would say different.
Joe would say different.
so there's some nice So the first thing is just see like, are they a nice person? Are they people? Have they got people skills? And then the coaching comes after that, because is that something you can then develop once they come into the business?
Yeah, because we want them to like obviously sort of coach in our way as well, because they are following our programs, but still we want them to make it their own in a sense. So not just obviously follow direct paper, and then we want them to add in a little bit flair, don't we?
Yeah.
And you've obviously had some of us been with you for 9.5 years, and then you've got other staff members that have been less time, but still a long period when you compare it to other people in the industry. What is it you're doing like once they're in to get them that buy-in and develop them and get them to, you know, stay with you for such a long time?
We just, I suppose, it's like friendships, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, we're all going to Ibiza for my 40th in September.
Nice.
It is like literally us and the coaches.
Yeah.
Going away.
We are like a little family, like it's a family unit. Like, we'll go out for bait every now and again, and
does that expand onto the client base as well? Because when I see like some of your clips and how you speak to some clients, it's that there's a real like banter vibe going on like throughout the process. So is that kind of the culture you have throughout the gym?
Yeah, through 100%. Both in it. Yeah.
Everywhere, yeah.
That's what we want. We go there to have a good time, and it's probably our social life as well, to be fair, like, isn't it? Because obviously we've got lots of kids. It is, yeah. We just love it.
It sounds like the business is quite authentic around you guys in terms of your ethos and your personality as well, where you've got the staff that have to gel to you and the clients and the banter that you have with them. Because there might be some people that would go, no, you need to act this way when clients come in and be in a certain way. But you guys are a lot, again, just a lot more like banter when people come in. But it seems to suit the business like so well, and it's working really well for you guys.
Mm-hmm.
We couldn't be professional, could we?
No.
I'm
I'm probably the one that tells him to reel it in a little bit, but it is, we want people to come to us because they're like being part of the group.
Yeah,
we've got a really nice community and we like to have a good time while we're there. I mean, he jumped out on a new starter once because he didn't realise it was a new starter.
Yeah, jumped out for a
scare.
Like waiting because I seen a client come up on the camera, so I hid behind the wall and then like jumped out on a brand new client.
Oh no!
Yeah. But she was fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely fine.
You know what? Still with us as well.
Yeah, that might just be like a really good icebreaker. They're a bit nervous their first gym session. They just get a big scare, and then after that they're fine. But it does really look like, and I encourage everyone that's listening to this to check out your Instagram pages and just look at the content that you guys put out, and we'll go into that in a little bit more detail because it does generally just look like such a friendly and welcoming place. So whether you are experienced or a complete beginner, it looks like a place where you can walk in and feel really at ease. And I think that's the biggest barrier that a lot of business owners have to get more clients, because some people are really scared to walk into a gym for that first time. Maybe they have you had clients like that have been terrified to go to a gym for the first time, and then they kind of come into you and you kind of see them become a different person, right?
Oh yeah, 100%.
Yeah, we've had people turn around. Yeah, we have, haven't we? Mm-hmm. And like literally people, I'm sure this will happen at most gyms, like if they're starting a new day program, we've had, like I've seen literally a car pull up and then just like pull away, and I'm looking, I'm sure she was starting a day. And then obviously you message them, like getting them back to get in. But yeah, as soon as they come in, we just jump on them, really, don't we? Like I'm just
that sounds so wrong.
Yeah. But it is. It's like I'll always break the ice with them. Like, are you nervous? Like, and then it's like a little bit. I was good. Yeah, it's going to be horrible. But then it just breaks it.
Yeah.
But then we always have a process of introducing them like to an older client, explain how everything works, and as soon as that. Because everybody's introduced to that older client, so everybody knows, because then in a few months' time, then a client will get introduced to that person. And then obviously they already know, I remember my first day.
And you mentioned that you got the whole team going to Ibiza with you for 4 weeks. Sounds like it's going to be a good laugh. And then with the team, is there a level where you kind of have to have you guys are employees and the balance between personal and there? Is there anything you guys do to separate that, or are you guys just really having that sort of like family vibe with the team members?
It's nothing separate, is there?
Very little. I mean, we're quite good at having actually no, we're not good at having the conversations. We don't like having awkward conversations, so we try and have it before it gets to the point where it's awkward and it's like, look, at the end of the day, you need to do this. We'll tend to sort of, if we see something going in a direction we don't like, we'll have a staff meeting where all of us are together. It always ascends into chaos, but we will get the point across where everyone buys into like, this is how it needs to be before it goes wrong.
Yeah. So you do have that, as you kind of described, kind of like family vibe within the team. But if there is something that needs to be addressed, it will be addressed, and so everyone's clear on like kind of what needs to happen moving forward there.
I generally just jump on the phone, don't I?
Yeah.
If I feel as though something's just amiss, I'll give it 24 hours, won't I? Instead of like don't have text from there. Yeah. Give it 24 hours now. I'll just say to Sarah, like, just chill, wait. And then 24 hours later, I'll jump on the phone. Because what's that phrase? Like, if in doubt, talk it out. Mm-hmm. That's it. And then you can talk straight away. It's like, what's up? What's this? And then it's normally sorted, isn't it?
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Now let's move on to marketing. So I mentioned this earlier, but you guys have got like a really good consistent rhythm of content in terms of it could be testimonials before and afters, but also just the educational content you're putting out as well is just like really, really great. And I see it probably on a daily basis. I'm just seeing you guys do stuff, whether it's talking about like protein shakes and the kind of diet culture that people put on us and how it has sugar in, or it could be something completely different, or maybe like a snippet of a podcast that you guys do. How long ago did you start cranking up the content machine, let's say, and what was your reasons for doing that?
Do I say this one?
Yeah. This
Yeah.
one's your area.
I think we've always been pretty consistent with content. Probably with Luke with the photos, wasn't it? So obviously we started the photo stuff, and the results was selling well. And then when we started to really crank it up was close to a year ago, wasn't it?
For the online.
Yeah, for when we wanted to go online, but I needed to build a personal brand, because I think personal brand sells as well as what the brand would at the time. So yeah, we decided to go a little bit online, build the personal brand up, but through that, it's actually helped the gyms more so.
So you initially did it for the online side of the business, which we'll get onto a little bit later on, but it's actually started to have an impact on the gym as a whole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And have you noticed a big difference since like posting the content regularly?
Yeah.
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 Definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think especially is because you guys don't run ads, every single day of the year, but you'll run a marketing campaign, once every other month or once every few weeks. And, for people that just run ads, they're missing out on a lot of opportunity if they don't have the other foundations in place. Like if they don't have content going out, if they don't have their website set up, because someone may see an ad that you guys run, they click on the page because they're curious, and then they just follow because they're not ready to buy yet or go and opt in, but they might give you a follow. And when they start seeing that content just day after day of education and proof of concept, and eventually when the time comes, they know who they're going to because they've been following you, or they go to the website. So many people that just run ads, I really think are missing out on so much opportunity, because the question is, like, imagine if you didn't run that content and then you ran the ads, like how much less would you get from that? And I think the answer is like thousands and thousands and thousands, really.
Yeah.
There's definitely such huge benefit to doing it.
It just works hand in hand. It's like what I've known now is obviously the personal brand has to be high as well, because I would put it off for a long time. I wouldn't even post with her.
No.
So I mean, up until last year, I only had my Instagram was on private, and I only had my friends following as 100 people maybe on that.
What was your hesitancy to post and start pushing out the personal brand? Because I know there's a lot of people listening to this that own a gym and probably don't like marketing, themselves. But actually on the other side of doing that will come great things for them and their business. So what was the reasons you didn't want to kind of post?
I felt forced. I think that was mine, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I always felt as though I was posting something like for likes in a sense.
Yeah.
And
I'm doing this because I have, yeah.
Yeah, and I was always hesitant, so I just kept it private. I would share a few little things on my Facebook, but it was just generally share stuff from the pages, obviously client results or whatever else like blogs we used to do, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah. You've been okay though.
I've never been as into it as I am now, but I mean, I stopped posting for a while because of you questioning everything. What are you posting that for? Is that for likes? Do you genuinely want to post that?
What was it that kind of clicked with you and then kind of got you in the rhythm of posting more and just being more consistent?
It was probably the online, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was literally the online. It was like we decided to take it online, and then it was just, you've got to build a personal brand. But as time's gone on with that, it's just have fun with it. Absolutely have fun with it. I mean, we've always done it with the interviews and that. We've always had fun with those, haven't we?
Mm-hmm.
But then that's been for the page, but now it's for the personal. We can go even funner.
And so you're kind of being a bit more, bringing that culture of the gym, whether it's the clients and the team, to the content that you're producing as well.
Yeah.
Because I think there's always been that pressure of you've got to be professional, you've got to be this, you've got to be that. And it was like, if we're going to do it, we're going to do it like us, because otherwise, what's the point? Like, we're not here to, I don't know, make things up just for the sake of it, like, or for the business. It's...
Yeah, can you show that you're having fun and having a bit of a laugh and maybe not taking yourself too seriously? Because like we touched upon earlier, there's so many people that are scared to go into a gym. Maybe they drive up to the gym and then turn around, and there's so much internal fear in people wanting to make a change. But if they can see how friendly you are and that you don't take yourself too seriously, you become far more approachable, and those barriers just drop down so much more when they can kind of see that kind of behind the scenes version of yourselves and the personality that you reflect. So I think that's I think in terms of being kind of authentic to yourself, there's massive benefit to that, rather than trying to be someone else in the industry that's doing well. Because I think is that maybe what you were seeing, like other people maybe not being like themselves or doing something for likes, and you were thinking, oh, I don't want to be like that, but now you're just being yourself from that content standpoint.
I think people just put content out for the sake of it, and if it doesn't have like meaning behind it, what's the point, isn't it?
And I think like attracts like. Yeah. And if we're in this kind of job, I don't know whether anyone else will say the same, but I think it's very important that you like the people that you're working with. Mm-hmm. And like clients and coaches alike. So a lot of the people that come to us, they come because they like what we're about.
Yeah,
and that looks like fun.
And I also think that obviously in marketing, the job is to stand out and be different. So if you're going to act like similar to the other gyms, then how are you really standing out? And content is that place where you can really show your personality and the brand off a lot more. And you mentioned that you got a camera guy. He's been with you for about 3 years. And we actually showcased some of your stuff at one of our masterminds. I don't think you were aware of it until we put it all up on the screen when you were sitting there. It was at Brighton Mastermind at the Amex. Yeah. But we highlighted because you guys have invested in getting the lighting, the camera, invested in the kit, and just upping the standards a little bit more. And there's some people listening to this that have done that already, but still probably a lot of people that haven't invested into kind of upping the media production. So what was your thought process in doing that? And like, again, what have the benefits been since you've done that?
Am I on this one again? Mm-hmm.
These are all your questions.
I know they are, aren't they? You've got to stand out, really. And in today's modern world, it is social media. And if you can get, I think when probably some of the gym operators, I could be completely wrong, but they might hire a guy for once a month, once every other month, and think that's going to be enough. But if you need to post 7 days a week, and for me personally on 3 different Instagram accounts, obviously you as well, like you need that level of content. So we've obviously got a camera guy who does, he'll do at least once a month, but that piece of content will last a long, long time. Yeah. But then I'll do a lot of content. I'll do personal content on top, and you've just got to keep pushing and pushing. And
so you guys are posting from 3 different accounts. You've got your personal accounts for both your personal brands, and then you've got the business account as well, all posting content consistently. So, where some people, it's like you need to post every day on your Instagram account. You're doing that times 3 across platforms there.
4.
Oh, 4.
4, but then Joe and Dan are constant as well on theirs separate.
And so you have the staff also posting content around the brand as well. So if they follow all of you, there's no escaping, basically.
There's no escape, no. Yeah. But I mean, Dan and Joe are very much involved with the online coaching. Yeah. So they're like heavily invested. It's like, yep. Yeah.
And Dan and Joe, and this is going to kind of circle back to the team because there's a question I forgot to ask. You've got 2 members of staff that are very brought into the business in terms of they've got a real ownership mentality and a kind of the maybe like left hand man because there's 2 of them kind of in there. What was the process like getting them to that level and getting them up to speed and knowing that they were the right person to do it? And what responsibilities have they taken off your shoulders?
I think Dan's just evolved. Dan, like I said before, Dan's evolved from literally coming in for 2 weeks free works experience to, right, we're going to try you with the group training, see how you get on, and then he's just gradually got better. But we've watched him grow up, and then like he's got his own side business as well, so we knew he could do it. He's a more than capable coach, and the opportunity came up for a studio in Concert, which is where he lives. And he's never liked the travel to the Durham unit. And he asked about it, and it was like, makes sense. And I mean, Dan could have completely done it on his own. He could have. He couldn't. He could have just set up on his own, done it, and it would have been done. But he says like, why haven't you done it by yourself? And he was like, well, we'll go further together. And it was like...
So he runs that unit, and then you've got Joe running the other unit. Yeah. And so what are their responsibilities? Is it just the day-to-day of when the gym sessions are taking place?
Dan's day-to-day just deals with everything Concert. The only thing he doesn't do is the sales calls. So that's still on me. Joe, basically... He looks after, make sure that Alex and Ben are doing everything that they should be. But his role's kind of evolving over time. Ross is delegating a lot more to him as well. But we kind of knew Joe was right. Just, you've met Joe. He's a mouthpiece. But he just demonstrated a lot of, like, he wanted to be heavily involved. and he cares, but he's got good crack as well.
Yeah.
It always comes back to that. But no, he just demonstrated the capacity to be able to do it, essentially.
And you mentioned that he's starting to do sales. Is that correct?
That's
No,
Matty.
that's Matty.
That's Matty.
That's
So I'm
a
getting
different
so-
course.
so-
Okay, yeah, I know, it's okay.
But let's transition to sales, because this is going to be your back, because you're the sales machine of the business now, aren't you? Yeah. And how many sales are you making average a month front end currently at the moment?
50.
Nice. And what's the front end price point of?
It
varies between.
It varies between obviously the large group and the small group. So I mean, the front end now we've just put it up, so it's 660 for 3 months for the barbell, 297 for the larger group.
Nice. So lowest is 297, highest is 660, and that's all being done over the phone.
Yeah.
On just a one call close.
Pretty much.
Nice. And with the 660, do most people pay up front? Can people part pay if they want to? Or
They can part pay. I think it depends on the tone of the call, whether or not I'll go down the route of the options. Some people will just pay it.
And did you always sell it over the phone? Or how long have you been doing that process for?
2015 we've been doing that.
You've been doing that for a long time.
Yeah,
Okay, nice. So
for
actually
9
before we met, so you're some of you guys are one call close OGs, basically.
Well, I when obviously talking to FMA people and watching obviously the sales stuff, I didn't know there was a different way. And then but listening to other people, it's like, Jesus, well, like we've been doing this forever.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, which is a great advantage to you, because I again, you're selling this a program at £660 over the phone. There's people listening to this that just will be in disbelief that it's possible in their area, and there's a story in their mind of why they can't sell for that much. But you do it so easily. You do it literally 50 times a month now for many, for years and years. And did you? I was going to say, did you ever have any beliefs of why you couldn't do that at all, or what were those beliefs that you had that was stopping you? Exactly
that. We live in, the northeast. Obviously, there's the very affluent areas of the northeast, but there's not so affluent areas. Mm-hmm. And there was definitely always people are not going to buy that.
It's one of the poorest places in the country.
Yeah.
But people are still paying that.
So you guys, are selling to people in one of the poorest locations in the UK, and they're paying between £300 and £600 over the phone on a 15-minute phone call.
They are now. It was a less then.
Yeah.
Been less then.
Yeah.
But yeah, there's been times. Obviously, it's taken me a long time to get to the point where I'm making that many sales in a month, and obviously it's got the market and everything in the background, which has boosted all of that. But God, I remember when we were doing maybe 10 sales a month, if that.
Yeah. We're going to clip that last bit. That's going to be the intro of the podcast, I think. I think that's a very good hook right there in terms of that question. But yeah, so the belief that people wouldn't pay over the phone, was that also one of them? Did you ever think, they should come into the gym, we should meet them face to face to meet up, or was that ever a hesitation?
We did do a little bit of that.
We did do a little. I think a long time ago we were probably more lenient and can I come down and have a look? And then it's been years, hasn't it, since we've let people come down, because now it's no. It's there's nothing to say. The coaches are coaching. We wouldn't give you the time. They wouldn't be able to give you the...
Wouldn't be able to stand and have a chat with you about the programme or anything like that. So actually what you see on the socials and all the rest of it is what you're going to get, essentially.
Yeah.
It's we're not selling gym equipment. It's we're selling the programme. And
so, and that's where I think a lot of people go wrong, is where they talk too much about the features of what they do and the equipment and the programming. If you were to kind of run me through the sort of one call close, let's say framework, what would that kind of look like? So obviously you speak to them and you have an intro. If you were to kind of lay out what that process looks like, could you give us a bit of an overview there?
My intro is different, isn't it? You go for yours.
No, go on. You tell us your intro first.
Oh, mine, because I've only just started mine since starting the online, because I do some Zoom stuff.
Yeah.
But literally, I'll be like, "Hey Charlie, it's Ross from Barbell Club," and they'll be like, "Oh, hi, you're all right? Yeah, what's the crack?" And then that's it, and then they just go off. Tell us everything. Yeah.
Well, so if I was to break that down, now I don't think that line would work very well in the south of England, but where it is, but what you're doing is you're going in, you're saying who it is, you're introducing yourself, and you're starting off with a question.
Yeah.
Because rather than going, I was now about, it's now a good time, and everyone's going to say no, it's not a good time because they're defensive. When you go with like an open question, then they're kind of forced to answer that question, and then it flows into the conversation, right? So the way you frame that is like kind of perfect in terms of intro, who you are, open question, and then it just rolls into the process.
Yeah.
And also
Cringe.
Yeah, she cringes when I do it.
Yeah, but also as I'm thinking about it, because let's say you got a call from someone from an insurance company, that's going to be a very formal intro, and in sales you almost don't want to appear like you're selling, even though you are. So when you can casualize the process and make it feel like you're just chatting to someone you know, that's going to actually lower the defenses even more, actually. Mm-hmm. So I might start trying that line. Yeah.
I think it works well, though, because with the social media side of things, because of what we've done on social media. And then if I'm personally messaging them, like to arrange a call or something like that, then I'm straight in.
And if they already know, if they've already seen your content and seen some stuff there, then they kind of know what to expect there as well.
Yeah.
How much easier is we're going to get back to sales.
I was going to say, get Sarah's.
Yeah, we are.
Sarah's the boss.
Okay, no, yeah. I just
legend.
want to. I kind of want to tie back in the kind of content and the marketing. How much easier is the sale when they say, "Oh, I've been seeing your stuff on Facebook for a year now, and I decided to." How much easier is that process rather than someone who's just seen something that day?
A lot easier. I mean, some people, because we do obviously the ads, and you've seen the start of our ads are sometimes ridiculous. And like, I seen you doing this on the camera. I can't believe you're saying it, but never mind.
Yeah.
But yeah, some people will sort of say, I feel like I know you already, and we'll just have a big crack on the phone, and it's a lot easier.
And that's perfect if they feel like they know you already from the content from that, because the more touch points you have before the point of sale, the less resistance you're going to have. So the more times they've seen the content, the more time they've seen the ads, it's just creating the touch point after touch point after touch point. And then when they get to that phone call, it's so much easier. You just feel like you're just walking them through it rather than having to. You can tell sometimes when you've got to really work hard on a sales call, and then sometimes when you just know it's a breeze, and it makes your life a lot. The more you market, the less difficult it's going to be on a sale, basically. But back to the intro, Sarah. What is your intro?
Yeah, so I mean, it's not quite as sort of what's the crack. It's normally, hiya, such and such. It's Sarah from RT Fitness or the Barbell Club. You filled in an application form for one of our programs, and you said you're struggling with X, Y, Z. Just want to find out a bit more about that, so tell us what you're struggling with.
Nice.
So it's a lot to do with what Luke's taught us.
Yeah, that powerful intro and bang in straight with that question there as well. So there's no, is now a good time to talk, or like, have you got a minute, or...
Sometimes, I'm not going to lie, sometimes it does fall to the, is now still a good time, because a lot of them have booked.
Through the
I
door.
know you hear us. I'm always thinking, as soon as it comes out your mouth, I'm like, I've said it again.
Yeah. Is it kind of force of habit?
It's like a force of habit. But I mean, obviously, a lot of ours do book in prior, so it is a good time.
Yeah. So some people will book in for a call, and then then
all of ours are booked.
Okay. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because we did this where they get a text, they can book in for a call and then go from there. But you'll still call the leads that don't book, do you? Or
those are like second in line, aren't they?
Yeah. You got like priority lists of kind of where it goes there. Yeah. But that intro is perfect. The kind of saying who you are, open with a question, and just go in and bam. And then after that intro, did you just start asking the questions and just go from that?
Yeah, so I talk around, obviously, whatever they're talking about. Sometimes it's I know Luke talks about like surface level. You don't want to stay surface level. Sometimes you need to go a bit deeper. Sometimes it will stay surface level because I feel like it's necessary.
Yeah.
And then obviously I'll go through the details of the program using the 4 pillars. And then it is, you can kind of get a vibe on the phone whether they're going to go for it or not.
Yeah. And so if you kind of know you've got that vibe, you just go straight into the sign up, and it's like a smooth. And then if you, let's say you sensed it there, I don't know, you sensed it maybe wasn't going to happen or something. Do you do something different to preempt that situation, or?
Probably not, to be honest. I mean, I have used...
Do you still just do the same thing every time regardless?
Yeah. I mean, I have used some of Luke's techniques, which is like where you're at, scale of 1 to 10.
Yeah.
10 being you love us, and 1 being you want us off the phone, never to talk about it again. And sometimes I can hear them almost cringing down the phone, and then sometimes they'll laugh, and it's like, I mean, it makes me cringe saying it. So it's like, I always like to revert back to me and what I'm comfortable with, which Luke will hate us for.
But I think that's really important, because like use the framework that you're given, but use your personality. Because let's say that you're given a set of words to say that you would never usually say in that order, that don't feel like you. Then it feels forced, and then it feels fake, and that's where that cringe comes from. But if you can, it's a little bit like your intro, right? Like that's not one that I would use, but it's the same framework. But that works for you, wouldn't work for me. But it's this. We're both saying the same thing in our own language, so it's important to. When it comes to sales, like you don't want to be like on a script, like, you know, hey, this is Charlie from Charlie Hall. You want to say it in your own way, but also follow the process as it comes.
Yeah.
And so what would you say your conversion rate is from people you speak to people that you sign up over the phone?
I mean, booked calls. Calls are booked, I would say about 60%.
Whew. That's very good.
For booked calls. That's people have already booked in the call.
Yeah.
If I was to introduce all of the others who were kind of, they filled out an application form but haven't booked a call, it'll be a lot less.
Yeah. And in terms of lead to sale, so people that haven't booked in, it will go down, but then it will, And then you also mentioned in the intro, you say, you filled in this application and you said you're struggling with X, Y, and Z. So you'll take a little look at the application before and just prep for that. So it's obviously tailored around those guys. Nice. And did you say it was 50 sales a month that you guys are making?
Depends. If we've got like if we've got a start date in place.
Yeah.
So I would say it's 9 out of the 12 months we'll have a start date. 9.
Yeah.
Probably only 8 now. I don't know.
It's only recently we've dropped one of them.
Yeah.
So it might be down to 8 this year. Like
probably
8
9
months,
start dates.
Nice. Eight start dates across the month.
And you said you were starting to get someone else to do the calls as well?
Yeah.
So how long's that been in place for?
About 3 weeks.
Okay, so this is, because this is always, people think that hiring a coach is hard. Hiring a salesperson, I think, is probably harder, because it's a very volatile industry. It's very performance based, and it's you're either hitting the numbers or you're not, right? And also it's keeping that person motivated, keeping them in. But this person is a staff member that's also starting to do some calls as well.
Yeah, so he's already coaching for us and he's starting the calls because it's something he's interested in.
Yeah.
We're very much in its infancy. I need to get him on some of Luke's calls.
Yeah, get him through some training and kind of look to ramp him up there.
I think he thought it was going to be easy because of how many sales we make.
Yeah.
And then he was messaging us, he was like, this is really hard.
Yeah.
But he'll get it.
Yeah. Well, I think it's, you kind of got to have the stomach to ask some of the questions and do some of the things that maybe don't feel supernatural. You said like some of the lines feel quite cringy. You've just got to be okay with kind of going through it and not having that process. And maybe when you're a little bit new, it's hard to do that, but you'll ease into it as you go on there. But is the goal for you to transition out of sales depending on how things go?
No.
I think Ross would love for us to step away from sales, but no, I don't think I ever will.
Yeah.
It's one of them things where you want to obviously build a business what runs itself, and that would be delegating say every single thing you do, so you can push the business in other ways. But it is one of the obviously where Sarah is top dog at it. It's hard to get that in places, wouldn't it?
I think at the minute it's just hard to envisage someone coming in and doing 50 sales a month.
Yeah.
So it's like not even in me.
Yeah. Well, a lot of people want to delegate it, but it's also the most valuable job in the business, right? It's where all the revenue is going to be coming from, all the new business. So I think a lot of people push it away too soon, and that can be very detrimental. So, but obviously you're in a position where you can do them. As soon as he gets better, you can either do less or do more, depending. So it's like pretty nice position that you guys are in. You mentioned kind of like building the business you want, and I remember at the start of this you mentioned that your opening hours are quite unique in comparison to other gyms as well. So you guys have got a lot of clients. You guys are like absolutely smashing it. But what are the open hours of the gym currently at the moment?
Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So no Wednesday, no Saturday, no Sunday. And the hours is 6 till 10 a.m. and then 5 till 7:30 Sunderland, 8:30 Durham. Yeah, and that's it.
Yeah, so you guys are, open 4 days a week.
Yeah.
No weekends, no Wednesday. A lot of the middle day is just taken out. But you used to do more, right? In terms of session wise. But it sounds like you've kind of pulled back for more of a lifestyle approach with the business as well. Is that fair to say?
Yeah, I mean, we had the 4 days. It was always a 4-day split with the Barbell Club program. And the Carnage was also 4 days, but it was always Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and then we do a Saturday morning. So the Saturday mornings were always dead, weren't they? That's safe.
It started to go down, didn't it?
Yeah, it started to dwindle. And then it was like, realistically, it makes sense to take the Wednesday out and have Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. So it's in line with the Barbell Club. And then that way as well, people who are doing the larger group training will see the small group training. So it's a natural funnel there as well, where it's all getting done at the same time. So it just made sense, completely made sense. And the less option you give people, the more likely they are to build it into their routine. Because if you leave it as an ad hoc thing, like something else will come up and get in the way.
And do you think you ever will build out those days at all, and you have it after, or are you just happy with how it is?
Happy with how it is.
There's still room to grow within the hours what we've got, because we could. It's actually, there's nothing on at 8 a.m. in Durham. So there's a gap between 8 and 9, so we could literally have another 3 barbell programs running, another Carnage. If we had the interest, obviously, from there, we could put a later one on in Sunderland. So there's still actually room to grow within those 4 days. We could keep pushing it out, to be fair. In concert, where the small studio, it's actually only 2 hours morning, 2 hours night. That's it, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday.
Yeah. And you guys have had like tremendous growth probably like the last 2 years or so, I would say. Is that fair to say? Like, you guys have had like a good injection of growth recently. Where would you say like the growth has come from? Is it a combination of the sales, the content, the ads you run with us, or I'll kind of hand it over to you to?
I think it was post-COVID. I think COVID gave us an opportunity to really look at where we were at and where we wanted to go, and kind of lit a fire under our backsides, essentially.
Yeah,
as to where we were going.
And then it was the photo shoots, which helped boost it that bit further. And then obviously getting with FMA.
Heard it here first, folks. Heard it here first.
So no, we've been with you actually coming up to 2 years next month. Yeah, 2 years next month.
And only Ross gets the socks. Just saying.
No, really? Wow, we will make a change.
The road to Joe on one of the cards.
We'll make a change to that for sure. We've actually got some socks in at the office, so you'll leave with a bucket load of socks by the time you leave.
So we've been with you 2 years, and at the time we had 220 clients, and now at about 360. But I think it's always a combination, because it's through obviously great marketing, like the ads, everything, obviously the funnels, all that's helped. But then it has been the combination of we've getting better at the photo shoots. We've pushed our content even higher, learning from more people within the industry as well, just of how far you can take it. So it's just been a big combination. But I would say the 2 years, obviously going from 220 to 360s, like a huge growth in that time.
Yeah. Well, all of those things you've mentioned in terms of like the paid marketing, which is super important, the content, which is really important, and they both fuel each other, right? Like they're both better because you have both of those at play. So if you didn't have the content you were doing, you probably wouldn't get as great as results. You still get results, because I'm sure there's a time where you were just running ads, right, in the business and not doing any content, which gets you to a level. But the more touch points you create over different areas, the better results you're going to get. And then obviously the service and the results that you're getting there will play a big part, because then more photos you can take, the more you can share. So it's a big combination of everything that you're doing that is attributed to the growth. So it's great for us to be able to kind of help you play a role there as well. What I wanted to ask you guys is that you're business partners, but also a couple. Does that ever come with any challenges at all in terms of working together? But then also, balance in home life, right? You guys have got you guys look after 3 kids. How do you kind of balance all of that amongst running the business, and then you've got 10 team members as well?
Quite well.
You say you've got a very good working relationship.
We do.
We stay in our lanes quite a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, I know what I'm good at and I know what Ross is good at. And if we start crossing over, we'll sharp tell each other.
And so have you written out the written out the responsibilities that you're both there for, or is it you just know it? It's just unwritten, but
you just kind of know. Because I mean, even before I was full time in the business, I kind of started to help with the financial side and organising that.
Yeah.
And then went into sales when we started from there, didn't we? And then
So you were sales and finance. Would you say are those your areas that you take?
Sales, finance, onboarding, and nutrition.
Nice. And your social media content?
Programming, cover coaches, training in coaches, just my job titles were never ending on there.
Yeah. And is that also part of the reason why you've just deliberately chosen to not be open on the weekends and also have the Wednesday, so you can balance the work-life balance there that you've got going on?
It was the kids, wasn't it? Like the boys.
It was the kids.
The older boys, yeah. Because it was where they're with me ex, so it was like I was getting them on a Wednesday and Saturday, wasn't it? And then it was more the Wednesday, like I just needed to cut off from there, so it was a lifestyle choice, so I could spend more time with them. And now it just works, obviously, for all the kids' weekends, everything, doesn't it?
Yeah, because if you really wanted to, and not saying that you should, but like in theory, if you wanted to go even bigger with opening up, you probably could, right? But you're just being like, actually, the business is in a really nice spot. We can grow it where it's at, and also have the family life that works nicely as well.
I think it's important. One of the things I'll always question the other coaches, because obviously a lot of them do like I was saying before, a lot of them are self-employed and they can grow the one-to-one side of things for themselves if they want to, so they get free rent. And I'll see them fill in some of their hours on Wednesday, Saturday, Sunday, and I'll say, look, it might not be right now, but at some point, you might want to have kids and you need to think about your work-life balance. So I think it's kind of, we're trying to get it into them as well. Like, burnout when you're a coach is super easy. I know the state he was in, doing 6 days a week. I wasn't coaching full-time at that point. And it was like, it's it's a bit much. So I always try and say to them, you need the work-life balance. Like, you've got to be able to go out and do your own thing and enjoy life.
Yeah, and set yourself up so you can live a life where you're still enjoying work, but also enjoying outside of work as well. And do you feel like you guys are kind of there now, where you've got that balance nicely? I know it's impossible to balance everything 100%, right? Run the business, but do you think it's better than it ever has been, or?
I mean, we're busier than it ever has been, so
we've kind of gone back a little bit, but yeah,
we know what we want to get to in our work balance, don't we? Like, we know the steps what we've got to take to be able to get to where we want to be, but we still, like, Saturday, Sunday, it's not like we
don't work full days, or we're not coaching, we're not out of the house or anything like that.
Yeah.
We will literally shut off on a Saturday, play with the kids all day, then play a fortnight on the night with the kids, destroy them.
You're saying you're better at a fortnight than your kids are?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
100%.
And what are those steps that you need to take, do you think, to be able to get to that point where you're looking to get to in the business?
I suppose the busier you get, then the more you've got to think, shit, I am getting busy.
We need to delegate more. But that's
we know
where
that.
we're at with Joe.
Yeah.
Joe's going to be a mini Ross.
Yeah.
And on top of all that, you've also recently gone online as well and started that side of things, which a lot of people have done. They've had an online branch, and that's where the personal brand came in. What was your thought process behind starting that? Why, on top of everything you're doing, why add another business into the mixture, basically?
That's probably what you asked us, isn't it? Why would you add in another bit? It's because we can only have so much capacity within the units themselves, especially on the barbell side of things, because that's what we promote online, the barbell program. And that's it, really. It's like we can only house so many people in the gym, and there was a lot of people who couldn't do it from our area, or say some people, our clients who were leaving that area, and it's like we can actually just stick this online, coach people online, and then sort of the sky's the limit on that one, isn't it? There's no overhead, there's no rent to pay on it.
Yeah.
did sharp figure out though there is a lot of overheads on it, didn't I?
Yeah.
There are overheads
Yeah.
on it, did you say? What
Yes.
say the overheads are? Is that time-wise or is it?
So I don't do any of the online coaching from there.
Okay.
Well, I do. Like, I've got some clients myself, but we delegate to Joe and Dan at the moment, and like we pay them half.
So
of
when
what
you
we
get an
in.
online client, the fulfillment is kind of outsourced to people in the team?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we do that. So obviously that's to pay for, but then there's systems, obviously VAT on that. What else was there? Like virtual assistant on that, who's like picking up the leads in the background. What else was it?
What is it you charge for online, just out of curiosity, when people come in?
$200 a month.
Okay,
online.
nice. And so
But that's gone from 150 to 200.
Nice. And would you sell a 12-week block of
Minimum 3 months sign
Oh,
up.
okay, cool. So it'd be £600 for the initial sign up.
Yeah.
And is that done over Zoom, the sales process?
Yeah.
Is the sales process any different, would you say, or is it similar?
It's time consuming because you're having to wait 5-10 minutes beforehand, and then if they don't turn up, then that's a big wasted amount of time. But generally on the sales call, it's a few little tweaks, because what I got like was a mentorship for the online, and so I just went for it like their way.
Yeah.
But I'm still just trying to have a normal conversation. What's the crack?
Yeah.
Conversation.
Yeah.
From there, but I've got to be a little bit more professional because they could be in a different area.
Yeah. Are most of them in the same area, or they could be anywhere?
Our first one was Australia.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, Australia. So it was 9 a.m. for us. It was 7 at night for her.
Yeah, she was bathing the bairn.
Bathing the baby, yeah. And I was like, what's going on here? And obviously first sales call. So yeah, I've got to be a little bit professional to start with, but then as soon as I could talk, it's just be myself.
Nice. Are there any, would you say, like, pros and cons to doing online while running the gym? Has it been a good decision to do? Like, are you happy, like, kind of where it's at?
It's hard fucking work.
Do you think it's harder than people make out? Because I think from the I'll say not from the outside looking in, because I know a lot of online coaches, and I know how it all works, but from what is shown to the outside world from people out there, I think it's shown to look at to be a lot easier than maybe it is. So is it a lot harder than you initially anticipated?
Yeah, so it all the mentors out there will say how glamorous it is, working from a beach, all the rest of it. You have to be like on social media, like more than us. So it's content. You have to have your stories right. You have to have your engagement right. And then obviously the service in them, the back end, and you've got to give them a good quality service if they're paying that amount. It can't just be, there's a program, there's a diet plan, off you go.
But it's mental how many of those there are.
What?
Who charge £150, £200 a month, and they give you a spreadsheet and tell you to fill
Yeah.
it in once a week, and it's like, that's crazy.
And so you guys are much more personalised with everyone. Do you do like, is it weekly check-ins or?
Yeah, weekly, and like there'll be a small bi-weekly check-in, but they're always just a message away.
Yeah. So there's still quite a lot to do for fulfillment-wise as well. So it's not quite as easy as everyone thinks it is.
No.
And because some people look at online and go, oh, there's no overheads compared to what I'm doing right now. But like you said, as soon as you stop posting, your business disappears.
Yeah.
And if you're someone that, let's say, has a gym and has been thinking about it, if you're not currently posting that much and you don't like it, then going online is you have to really up the ante there, right, to be able to do it.
Because even with our social proof, like we've got some of the best social proof around, and even that's not enough. Like sometimes, because obviously we have to build the personal branding so people obviously see who you are, but even that's not enough. It's like you've got to be so involved, and it is, especially say cold outreach. From there, it's for the people who are actually doing it that way. It's so time consuming.
And is that reaching out to people that follow, like, engage, and just dropping a message and just going from there?
Mm-hmm.
Do you have someone that does that for you, or?
Yeah, so the VA will do a lot of that for us, but it's still even picking up the VA stuff on top, and there's still time involved.
It can just be like running any business. It's a lot of hard work essentially.
It's a full
by
business.
the sounds of it. Yeah.
It is. Trying to get that off the ground was trying to open a gym.
Really, like in terms of getting the first couple of customers through. It was
even now, it still is trying to like push it, isn't it? It's a tough game.
I think that's an interesting lesson because, again, a lot of people think, oh, I'll just do some online, it'll be easier. But actually, if you have a business now, that's maybe not for some people, if you're looking for an easier ride, that's not what you're going to get. You're going to get another business that you have to work on simultaneously at the same time. And the stakes probably aren't as high because you don't have a facility or you don't have, a team, but it's still a lot of hours and a lot of reps that you guys have got to put in. So what is next for you guys in terms of RT Fitness? What's the sort of vision for you guys in the business? Do you know? Or
this one's definitely yours.
Is it?
Aye.
I mean, like we're quite full at the moment. Obviously, we just still want to get it full, but it's always about client experience. Just making that every day great for them, isn't it? And obviously, we can push the online, and that's the only way we sort of can go unless we do add in more sessions on the days what we've got running. But it's just about improving the product what we've got now. Where obviously the Durham's ran for 10 years. We want to future-proof that for another 10 years. And just, I mean, like I said on the socials, it is just community, just all the way, and we just want to keep pushing that as high as we can go.
Yeah, so a big focus on like product development and improving that, making sure you can get it in. Is there any particular areas where you feel it needs to be improved? If you could pinpoint some things, are there things where you're like, that could be improved or this could be improved? Or is it a process of figuring out what needs to be improved?
I think sometimes, obviously, it's from an appearance, aesthetics perspective, the Durham, we've mentioned it to you before we came on here, the flooring needs doing, just aesthetically looking at it, needs tidying up. There's a lot that me and Ross do that could probably be systemised a lot more.
Yeah.
So that's sort of from our perspective. I mean, we've grown to a point of where it's like, if I wanted to give this to someone else, I couldn't because it's on my spreadsheet. It's doing it exactly my way.
Yeah. Like a lot of stuff's in our heads, isn't it? And I think that we need to improve on that.
Yeah, you guys kind of are the system, which is very common when running a small business, right? But I do truly think you guys have built a very like genuine and like fun looking community. Just every time I see it, it looks like a really fun, warm and welcome place to be. And it's been incredible to see like the results and the growth you guys have had. And it's been a pleasure to be a part of that. So thank you for kind of trusting us to be able to help you guys out as well and be a part of that journey. And I'm sure we're going to help you continue to go even further. And thank you also for coming on the podcast and being on the show today.
No, thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Fitness Marketing Agency podcast. If you enjoyed it, make sure to subscribe so you can catch future episodes.